Hi, welcome to The Spot. I'm your host, Caleb Arkapour. I'm sitting here with Ty Christopher, Director of the Energy Futures Network at UAW. Thanks for joining us, Ty.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and your work.
I come from an industry background. I've spent 40 years now in the power industry and the electricity industry. And having retired from that, I've now come to join the University of Wollongong. And so for the last 5 years, I've been leading a group of around 100 academics from right the way across the university, as well as our professional staff in the Energy Futures Network, where we're focused on coming up with innovative solutions for the challenges we face in the energy future. In particular, focusing on the social and the economic transformations, as well as the technology that we're going to need for a clean energy future.
And what does that look like exactly, day to day?
Day to day, it involves lots of interaction, particularly with people from outside the university. We do a lot of work with industry and with companies, and also with state and federal governments as we are guiding Australia through the energy futures journey. The aim is to really establish the University of Wollongong as a trusted voice and as an objective voice in what can often be a very politically charged and dynamic discussion on the clean energy future of our nation.
So it's fair to say that there would be quite an impact on the university and the students of the university engaging with this as well, in terms of how they would be involved.
There's an impact for students on many different levels. For a start, we are in the final stages at the moment of building out a new $10 million Energy Futures Skills Centre. That's a series of 8 laboratories right the way across the university, as well as a community interaction centre over in the science space called the Energy Futures Zone. So at the undergraduate level, there are points there where students who are coming through the university will be experiencing new and innovative courses and subjects as they're delivered in those teaching labs. There's also then, as we get into postgrad, the research angle and our partnership with industries as we're working to solve the big problems that we face in a clean energy future, and in particular focusing on how we as a society can go on this journey in a way that is fair and equitable for everyone.
Now, before you mentioned renewables and batteries helping to drive down power. Why is that?
We've seen some really good news come out just recently, and with the Australian electricity grid now reaching more than 50% renewables over the last half a year to a year, what that's done is put significant downward pressure on electricity prices in what's called the wholesale electricity market. That's not what we pay as consumers, but that's what the companies that buy their energy pay and then pass on to us as consumers. That downward pressure is being passed on now through price reductions of around 7%, in the case of business, up to around 15% reductions in the ceiling or the maximum that can be charged for electricity. What that means is the equity aspect is really starting to kick in for all of us as a society, because the people that can afford to put solar on their roofs and batteries in their homes are contributing to an ongoing reduction in electricity prices, and that's being shared with everyone by the default offer or the maximum offer being reduced effective from 1 July this year.
Would that be impacting young people and students, or not so much if they obviously don't own their own houses and they don't put solar panels on their roofs?
Well, the good news is what we're seeing here is the benefits of those who can afford to put solar and batteries on their homes actually starting to be distributed to everyone, including renters, people in social housing, students in accommodation. Basically anyone who has an electricity bill is now starting to see the benefits of the people who could afford it, taking control of their own energy and their energy autonomy through solar and batteries on their homes, but that's pulling down the price overall across the entire electricity market.
And last question now, what is the future looking like for that in your industry?
The future for Australia is looking bright. The fact of the matter is we have the best solar resource of any continent and any country in the world. We're in the top 5 or 6 for wind resource anywhere in the world. And none of that solar and none of that wind has to come through the Strait of Hormuz to get here. So the reality for Australia is the more we lean into embracing solar, wind, battery storage, pumped hydro, We decarbonise the grid, we decarbonise our lives, we decarbonise transport through electric vehicles. We established our nation to be prosperous and not reliant on global supply chains.
Well, Ty, thank you for letting us put you on the spot. We'll be back next week. I'm Caleb Arkpor, and this has been The Spot.